Smashbox Labs.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Smashbox Live.
Hey guys.
We didn't have a title last time,
Yeah.
and
I think this time Adult Diaper Rash is going to serve as a pretty good title.
listen, you don't want to spoil my talking points for later in the show. That's kind of rude.
Well, the reason I actually bring it up is I want to start there.
You want to start with adult diaper rash,
Yeah, and work our way.
So, have you had diaper rash recently?
No, but I did get a paper about it.
You got a paper about diaper rash or
Yeah.
adult diaper rash?
Specifically Adult Diaper Rash.
Specifically adult diaper. Okay.
So, for those of you who don't know, I work at a college, and I basically get people's papers, and I help them not suck.
Right. Where did they come to you for that?
Okay, but not too long ago, a student came to me with a paper about adult diaper rash and how horrible it was and how it had affected his life.
It's a pretty avoidable plague, though.
That's what I said.
Clean your ass.
I didn't know how to address this fella, as he told me that the reason he got a divorce
No.
was because of his diaper rash.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So, keep in mind, according to him, this is not an everyday case of diaper rash. What do you think?
This
That
was an advanced level of diaper rash.
It's like, this is diaper rash, this is diaper rash 2, and this is to go even further beyond diaper rash 3.
Also known as diaper rash 3.
Yeah, he was at the key level of diaper rash,
Oh my goodness.
in which he sat there for 45 minutes of my day, telling me about how he got a divorce.
You got paid for 45 minutes of this guy telling you about his bad case of diaper rash that made his wife leave.
And like the 3 hours of deep contemplation that followed it, yeah. When someone tells you, my wife left me because my ass is awful, you know?
You do have to think on that one for, like, did he try to get rid of it? Does he know that cleaning his ass can avoid this?
Yeah, it's like, it's one thing to be like, my wife left me because I have perpetual swamp ass.
You know, I've seen, like, I can't remember if it was the Jerry Springer show or, like, the Maury show or something, but it was, like, this was a lady who was returning. Like, they had already come and, figured out the guy was or was not the father. But they came back because there was still drama going on, and she had T-shirts made from a catchphrase she had said, or something that she had said on the previous show that became a catchphrase. So she was like selling these T-shirts, and all it said, it was a picture of the dude's face, and it said, "Clean your ass." So I wonder if that was maybe his wife also left him because of diaper rash.
Now, the thing that gets me, though, is at what point do you just, like, lose all of your shame? You know, because I work
Like
at a
that
college.
you go and one, you write a paper about diaper rash, but then two, you bring it to a tutor and say, "Hey, is this a good paper about diaper rash?"
The worst part is, it was supposed to be a medical research paper for his anatomy class.
So he has a first-hand account of
Yeah.
how bad diaper rash can be.
The worst
how
part
bad
is-
it can get. I have on good merit that I have had the worst case of diaper rash ever. This is my paper about it.
The worst part is, it was one of those things where, part of my job is I have to see the assignment before I can look over it. So he gives me the guidelines, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty simple. Rule number 1, no anecdotal stories. Rule number 2, avoid tainting your paper with personal biases. So already this guy has broken 2 of the
he's 2 for 2
first
right
two
now,
rules,
yeah.
The rest of it's just like formatting shit, like use
Okay.
APA format, but this guy, he hands me the paper, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, sir, at one point you cite yourself as a personal interview? And he goes, well, yeah, I sat down and I recorded my thoughts on a tape recorder, and I said to myself, not to him, I said to myself, this guy sat down and interviewed himself about fucking ass rash? What the hell? And the guy's telling me about it, and I'm like, well, sir, it says here you can't use personal anecdotes. He goes, see, that's the genius of it. And I'm immediately concerned. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm immediately concerned, and I think you could see it on my face because he said, don't worry, it's a personal interview, not an anecdote.
Like he's like, I thought about that one.
Yeah.
Loophole.
Yeah, he's got me by the balls.
That dumbass professor ain't gonna see this one coming. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, and the worst part is I know the instructor who he's doing this for.
Oh, goodness.
She is a no-nonsense, like, black woman.
Nice.
She has lived a life of adversity, and
She gonna hand it back to him. She gonna hand it back to him and be like, wash your ass. Just done.
Yeah. I was so concerned, not for his ass rash. That was not really
His
in my
ass
list.
rash was none of your concern.
Yeah, but the really perplexing part about it was the fact that he did not at any point seem to display embarrassment over his ass rash.
I mean, he probably blames it on his wife for leaving.
It
was her fault for not wiping him better. That's what it was.
When I asked him, I was like, "So what made you choose adult diaper rash?" And there was like a long technical name for it. But what made you choose this dermatological malfunction? And he says,
calling it anything other than diaper rash is way too classy for what diaper rash is.
Yeah, and this is where he points to the part in his paper where he talks about his wife divorcing him. And
Right.
so,
he's got a personal vendetta with adult diaper rash.
And he says, I just think that this problem really needs to be solved and addressed. And I wanted to
People
say...
need to know to wash their ass.
Yeah, I wanted to say, sir, this is addressed by wiping your ass. That's
properly.
Or
just cleaning it in the shower well.
Yeah, taking a nice towel and wiping your ass. Taking some toilet paper, really getting a bidet, sitting under a faucet, anything that you fucking need to do, just wipe your ass.
That's a good tangent to go off on. I looked up why bidets didn't catch on in America. Because to me it seems like obviously that's just like the superior way to clean your ass.
Yeah.
Apparently
the hands-free method.
Right. Well, in the early days, bidets were like a hands-on method. Like you had like this seat of water, and you just sort of splashed you splashed a little butthole with a little bit of warm water, and just wash your hands. Done.
Okay.
Like when in World War II, the soldiers were over there and they see these things and they're like, "Oh, these are in whorehouses. That's why. That's why these whores are so dirty. They wipe their asses with their bare hand in water and shit." But I mean, now it's just like, holy fuck! why is the rest of the world not catching on to this thing?
Right, like they see it and they're like, "Oh, this is a high quality fuck toilet."
Yeah.
And then they come back and they tell all their friends about this fuck toilet, and all of a sudden all these people think it's degenerate.
Yeah. My favorite bidet line is you ever see Bob the Butler?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like the mom, Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields, the mom's like, it mentions that they got a bidet installed, and then the younger brother doesn't understand what a bidet is, and his sister's like, it's like a fountain for your and then Brooke Shields steps in and goes, "Ask me later." It's just like, don't you dare say that, young lady.
I think that's one thing, this swearing thing. You ever have one of those days where it's like I work a job where I can't swear while I'm on the clock.
Right.
So
I've worked many jobs where I shouldn't swear while on the clock.
But I found that
I did a lot.
I feel
just
it.
when the boss wasn't there mostly.
Right. See, I work around other people who, if I swear, they'll seem to think that they can too.
They'll rat you out.
Well, no, but they'll start swearing too, and before long, someone's like, "Well, why are you swearing?" "Oh, Duke was swearing." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, who gives a fuck? Duke sweared.
Yeah, so it's gotten to the point where instead of swearing, I make up bullshit. Like I'll say, "Oh man, you ever sneeze so hard your dangle hurts?" Or like
that's I'm pretty sure that's a chlamydia thing.
I know at one point I accidentally I had walked into a door back first. I was carrying a table out, and I said, "Oh, my bait and tackle," when I meant my butt.
What?
So instead of being just saying, "Oh, my butt hurts," like any normal fucking human being.
Yeah.
It's not even a swear word. It's
like a
butt.
responsible adult.
Yeah, instead of being a responsible adult, I said, "Oh, my dick and balls hurt from walking into a door ass first."
I've never heard anybody refer to their dick and nuts as bait and tackle.
Well, yeah.
So
you got the two nuts.
So bait and tackle works as well for butt as it does for dick and balls, and because I've never heard it used for either.
Dude, bait and tackle is a pretty.
Well, I mean, just picturing you saying that and meaning butt. Just like you using bait and tackle to describe your brown town.
Yeah.
Makes as much sense as because I've never heard anybody call their dick and balls bait and tackle. So that's just like that's a new thing, and I can picture you saying that and meaning your butt.
I will say it is kind of beautiful how oblivious some people are about it. Like, sometimes just if I want to have fun, I'll work in like a very obvious sexual innuendo into what I'm saying. Someone was talking to me about like store chains, you know.
Can I cut you off and say that that's a great place to like fish up a sexual harassment lawsuit?
Oh no, I don't mean sexual as in, you know, like penis or dick or something like that.
No. So what do you mean by working in sexual innuendo?
Well, I think that what I meant was that I'll play a very immature game where I try to get them to say something like Pound Town.
Oh. That's just sad.
Yeah, it's not the greatest game, but it's one I find a lot of fun in.
It's a dirty job. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, it's the Mike Rowe of English tutoring.
We can go that far.
I think that Mike Rowe does a pretty good job, though. I miss his show, Dirty Jobs.
Yeah.
I think the thing about Dirty Jobs is that people always try to connect it to stupid shit.
Like, what?
You ever heard the theory that all of Dirty Jobs takes place in Tim the Toolman Taylor's dream?
No, that's a new one,
dude.
But okay. that is a good segue. I appreciate the segue.
I'm serious though. That is a real theory.
I've heard some fucked up TV theories, but that's a new one. Haven't heard that one.
I think the origin of it stems from this this thing about what was the brand that he used?
Binford Tools.
Yeah, Binford. He made Mike Rowe made like a Binford joke or something.
Really?
Like a quick like a one-liner. And then someone was like, "It's my time.
I'll bust this case wide open."
Yeah, it's my time.
It all makes sense.
I think
so somebody wakes up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night. It all makes sense now. He just starts typing on his My Journal page.
Yeah, on his live journal.
That's it. My bad.
I think that fan theories get way too out of the way sometimes. You know,
right? I gotta get this shit on Wattpad now. I only know about this website because my sister used to read One Direction and other boy band fan fictions on this site.
Oh god.
Wattpad. You ever heard of it?
Yeah, I have.
Like, what the fuck? That is scary. Like, that's a scary level of just like, I don't even know. Like, yeah, it's like I want these men to fuck so bad. So here's 10 chapters of a book I'm writing about Zayn Malik, and he's the only one I can think of because he's the one that left, and everybody was really upset about it.
Dude, I accidentally on Tumblr one time, and I'm never going to share my Tumblr on here, but
right.
One time...
I wish I knew it so I could share it.
But one time I followed a Tumblr blog, and it was very political leaning, and I was like, oh, cool, you know, I get to see that. But long story short, I followed it because I liked what it was talking about. Turns out that was just like a week of their posts. So they go from talking about something I'm interested in to whether or not Harry and Lewis are going to fuck.
You lost me there.
See, exactly. Because I don't know who the fuck those two people are, but I know that the people who want them to fuck are called Larrys.
I can't think of a... They're called Larrys?
Yeah.
Is that...
Lewis and Harry, I guess.
Is that a Harry Potter character?
No, I think it's a One Direction guy.
It's a One Direction guy.
I think.
Okay.
But there are people saying that like they want to fuck so bad, and then I don't get it.
I'm legitimately drawing a blank. I'm trying super hard to think of the One Direction guys' names, but I can only think of Zayn Malik.
I only
because it was trending on Twitter whenever he left, and then he put out some shitty tweets about how the band's gay and shit like that.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, what does that really say about you, huh, Zayn? Yeah. And also, my sister getting really upset because Rucka Rucka Ali mentioned Zayn Malik in a song.
Mm.
And I was like, well, I'm a big fan of Rucka Rucka Ali, and I didn't know that yet. So I went on Spotify and looked up his new song. And it's just like, yes, Lewis is a guy because the Rucka Rucka Ali song is, my name's Lewis, I like cock. That's the line. It's I am Zayn, I'm from Iraq. My name's Lewis, I like cock.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, and the people hate each other over it. Whether or not they want to fuck. The worst part is
absolutely nuts. Like two men from a boy band. Their fan base is divided on whether or not two of them are going to hypothetically fuck.
Oh, dude, the worst part is there's like an entire sect of them who are radicalists that believe they've been fucking.
Radical One Direction terrorists.
Yeah, it's like
Radical Larry terrorists.
the only reason I know that this is an entire thing is because this person made I read essays for a living, but this guy wrote
a beheading video or
no,
no. There's no Larry beheading video.
Not yet.
I'd like to see that video.
Yeah, but it was like 5,000 words on why they'd been fucking for years.
Also, there's people that think this has been happening, like it's actively happening, and just nobody's privy to it yet.
Yeah, and then someone replied with like a 2,000 word image, like an image and text dump,
right,
with evidence supporting the opposite theory.
Right.
That they weren't gay at all, and someone goes,
well, duh.
Yeah.
Who would think that Larry was a real thing that was going to happen?
Yeah.
It's all about Zeus.
Yeah, it's all about Zeus. But yeah, they were like shitting on the theory.
I would just like to go back and see like the cries of outrage when Zayn left the band for anybody who shipped Zayn and the other band members together. I just want to go back and see the shit posts of crying that these kids were doing whenever that happened. I can only imagine how great that was.
The worst part is it's gotten to a point where it's like you can't talk to your family about politics during Thanksgiving.
Right. You can't talk to your parents about your Larry fan fiction.
Well, no, see, because what's going to happen is you go to Thanksgiving, right? You've got your two 13-year-old nieces from different sides of the family.
Oh, no.
And suddenly, one of them's a Zary shipper.
Team Larry or Team Zary?
I just don't want to get into this, girls. Like, here you just look at him like, I'm Team Zeus, you stupid sluts.
Yeah, you dumb sluts.
Yeah, it's just like, fuck, man. I think that
I just picture you leaning over a table at Thanksgiving and calling two 13-year-old girls dumb sluts.
Well, I did once tackle, not 13-year-old girls, don't worry, it's not like that. One time I tackled two first graders to get on the Jumbotron. Now, the only thing that makes this even remotely...
How old were you?
I think 16? No, I was 17.
Holy fuck.
17 going on 18. And they were 6, and I tackled them and took them out a row to get on the Jumbotron. It was an Indians game. And the thing that brings us up is the cameraman. You know he saw it, and he had that same look that I feel the rest of my family would have. They see me come onto the screen, and suddenly it's
just
all tragedy.
Smash two first graders. This is also my first Indians game.
Yeah, it was right after Chin Soo Choo was up at bat against the Twins.
Oh my god!
And I took him out, and we went down a row, and I'm shirtless, right?
Of course you are. Why would you not be shirtless?
I'm with two.
So a naked man that looks to be about 40 years old tackles two first graders with he has no shirt on, and he tackles two while drunk, and he tackles 17 years old, looks like he's 40, he's drunk, and he's shirtless, and he tackles your two first graders. Go. What do you do?
Oh, the parents weren't there.
The parents weren't there.
No, they were just...
Well, that's their fault.
Yeah, I think
you leave your first graders alone in a baseball game. What the fuck's wrong with you?
To be fair,
I guess it's Cleveland.
Yeah, they were in the
goes in
nosebleeds.
Cleveland.
They were in the nosebleed seats. But yeah, so I tackle him and I take him down a row, and the cameraman, as soon as he sees me jump onto the screen, he switches.
It's like,
they were
nope.
ready. Yeah,
ain't doing that.
So that's the look I imagine my family has on their faces as I call two 13-year-old nieces dumb sluts and tell them that Zeus is the only true god.
Forged drop.
But I think that there comes a point, I think, where people just have to admit that these people are real and they have to be let go and to do their own thing, but they still get outraged over it.
Like I like fan theories for TV shows like that, like the Angelica, like there are no babies. Angelica making like the Rugrats theory that Angelica makes all these people up, that there are no other babies. That Cynthia talks back to her, and all the kids are made up, and Cynthia's a real doll, but she talks to Angelica, and Angelica's made up all these other babies. I'm trying to think of other fan theorists, but I think that's the big one that I remember.
I read one the other day, and it was basically that, okay, Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Super?
Yeah. So
I read this theory that the reason Dragon Ball gets super outlandish is because everything after the Android saga is future Goku's dream as he dies from the heart virus.
That's That's dumb.
Well, I mean, I was reading it and I was, it's nonsense, but
Yeah.
they were like, well, that's the reason that Goten is born, because he's thinking about his childhood and all that stuff, and then,
No, because, you see, that goes from fan theory to thinking that Akira Toriyama is just going to piss in the face of millions of fans, which he wouldn't do.
I mean, beyond that, I don't think Akira Toriyama has, like, a commitment to do that.
Right.
Because don't get me wrong, I love everything he's done.
Like, if he ended everything, it's like, oh, it was all a fever dream after the Android saga. No, like...
Yeah, no fucking way.
He would be murdered the next day.
Yeah, we'd find him dead in his house.
Yeah, mysteriously. He would have autoerotically asphyxiated himself.
While thinking about Toyotaro.
Well, I don't know about that, but I was trying to segue into conspiracy theories, because I don't know if you know this about me, but I have a few conspiracy theories of my own.
Okay, hit me.
Okay, well, I mean, these aren't necessarily my own. I should preface this with, these are just ones that I sort of subscribe to.
Okay.
Okay, so first off, there are people. Actually, this wasn't one I subscribe to. This is just one I find interesting.
Okay.
There are people out there who believe that Heath Ledger purposefully overdosed just to boost ticket sales for The Dark Knight.
What?
Yeah.
Like that he straight up just died?
Yeah,
And
that
was
he
like...
killed himself so that people would go and see The Dark Knight. I don't know if you knew about it before you saw the movie. I sure as hell didn't. I was like, oh man, can't wait for more Joker. And somebody was like, ooh, yeah, I hate to do this to you, but yeah, he's dead now.
Oh.
So I was pretty destroyed.
Yeah.
I love that movie. That series of movies is, I think the third movie is the weak link. I think that Batman Begins, a really great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Tells the origin story pretty damn, knocks it out of the park. And The Dark Knight is a great movie. Dark Knight Rises isn't as good as the other two, I don't think. I think that the fight choreography kind of takes a dip. And it's a good story, but I think the fight choreography does take a dip. And that was the big thing where I was like, this is kind of lame.
Because you had seen like the tip top of the
Right.
first two.
Well, because I want Bane to be like really good, but then it's like you can't really fight. You can't follow the fights because the fights are just like so poorly choreographed. Well, there's just like big gaps in time where between like these moves should be happening, or like it doesn't make sense that they happen in the order that they do sometimes. I mean, I could pick that apart, but that's like not really here or there.
Right.
I'm a big movie critic.
I
love movies. Movies are like my favorite thing, but it's like part of me is like, if I put a 2-hour commitment into something, it's like, and if I find problems with it and somebody wants to discuss those problems, I'll more than willing to do that.
Yeah, I'm with you. The way I see it, it's like with anything that you like, you should be able to criticize it as well.
Right, but to develop a outrageous theory like one of the actors from the film
Committed suicide.
Purposely took his own life to boost ticket sales is outlandish.
I think my favorite conspiracy theory has to be the whole. You know how Nixon wrote that speech for if the astronauts hadn't come back.
hadn't come back. Yeah.
There was one I read that the whole reason he wrote it is because they initially intended to kill them.
Well, see, it's strange that there are like conspiracy theories which are two complete opposite spectrums. There's people that would imply that there were people that believed we were sending the astronauts there to die, and then there's people that think this was filmed in a studio in Los Angeles. That's crazy to me that there's people so polar opposites of this. That's nuts.
The thing that
There's two equally crazy
Yeah.
theories. It's like, I mean, you can get any powerful telescope. I don't know if you've ever done this or tried this,
No.
but if you have a decently enough powerful telescope, which my grandpa did, so I got to do this, and on a clear night, you can look at the moon, and with a decently powerful telescope, you can see the flag, you can see the lander.
Huh.
My grandpa had and this was in 2004, he had a $600 telescope. This thing was fat as fuck. He
Yeah.
lived out in the country. It was a clear night. And I was like, oh, hey, we're going to look at the moon. And my grandpa being like, hey, you want to see a cool thing you can look at? And I was like, oh, he's going to show me Jupiter or some shit. No, he's like, and he sets it right in. He's got this big slider and zoom shit. It's like, boom, right there. Look at that. I'm like, what's that? He's like, well, it's you're not really looking at it from the best angle, but that's the flag, and that's the lander right there. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here, Grandpa. You're nuts.
Home.
You're here. Well, we were at his house.
Grandpa, let me have your home and you go to mine.
You get the fuck out of here.
I think
you're shitting me.
The only thing that really lends any credence to the whole Nixon was going to kill the astronauts theory is that there was supposedly a protocol at the time, and maybe even still today, I didn't actually look into it, I trust it's crazy and not true, that basically, if something goes wrong, and say they can't come back,
right.
What NASA is supposed to do is cut communications and never open them again.
Really?
Yeah.
That's nuts. I've read the speech for, if they weren't able to make the return trip.
Yeah,
and that was like crazy to me. I was like, oh, so like there was a reasonable enough chance that they weren't going to be able to come back, and they still went.
Yeah.
I was like, that's like, I already thought they were kind of like heroes for like, taking that step and being like, space travel, future, and stuff like that. But for it to be a reasonable enough belief that they wouldn't have come back, that there was a speech prepared for if they weren't able to come back, that's nuts to me.
Yeah.
But that's a serious protocol that they're supposed to cut ties or cut communication and not try and reopen them.
Yeah. What
is that like where the movie The Martian comes like from?
Well, no, because yes, but. No, as well. In The Martian, what happens is the relay is damaged.
Okay. Well, I haven't actually seen the movie or read the book.
The book, I have the book in the car. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I meant to read it. My brother got it, and but I mean, he's in college and he comes home, 3 months in the summer,
and if he forgets it,
I'm on like a week at a time, so it's like, I didn't have a huge window to read the book.
Yeah, but what's supposed to happen according to this protocol? And I don't even know if it's real. Someone, comment, tell us if it is. But basically, you sever ties so that they can die with dignity. But at the same time, you know how little fucking sense that makes?
Yeah. Because I think whether or not they're able to communicate, they're probably going to be losing their shit. I mean, if they were going to lose their shit, they're going to lose their shit trying to communicate with you if all of a sudden you just stop talking.
Yeah, like, I'm sure there's, their sign off or something, but who in their right fucking mind is going to be like, no, just go. It's fine, we'll be good. Don't say bye to our families or anything.
Yeah,
we're sad.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where it's like, it comes down to whether or not...
I want to go ahead and say that's a bullshit theory. That's not a real thing. I don't believe that for a second.
I think it comes down to how far you dig into it.
Right.
Because I feel pretty certain that, no fucking way.
That's something that's just, it just sounds crazy enough that,
that it could,
if I was a little bit drunk, I might believe
it. Yeah.
Not that I would ever be
drunk and talking about space travel,
Yeah, or just drunk at all. I mean, I'm not an alcohol person, as I've discussed with you in the past.
Yeah.
Also, I apologize if you guys can hear our neighbor mowing his lawn. He just decided to do that at 6 p.m.
Yeah, good old Dennis.
Is that what his name is?
I don't know.
I
don't know if he has a name.
Fuck Dennis.
He drives a motorcycle, though, which is fucking rad as hell.
Oh, is it rad?
It's okay. At least we have...
It's annoying, is what it is.
Yeah, at least we have a pretty cool guy as our neighbor in terms of nameology. Because imagine if we had, a Tammy Lou.
And what do you do with Tammy Lou?
Well, you take her out back behind the barn.
Tammy, fuck off. Tammy Lou doesn't have 30 dogs that she shoots up frequently.
But a Dennis does?
But a Dennis apparently does, yeah.
If it can't do
Pause
60 FPS without overheating, there's no point.
That was Matt realizing that was super loud and coming through the speakers.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that was coming up. Did you see wavelengths? It looks like super quiet there, so it doesn't look like...
Okay. Let's take a 5-second thing and then come back into it. We can probably get a good pause. But yeah, I mean, Dennis...
What did you just do? You trying to make me do editing?
Yeah.
The point of the podcast is no editing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
The first podcast we had something that I think I need to edit on. Or no. Did we? I don't remember.
We're supposed to edit it, but
no. Our first attempt, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't remember if the first real one that we're set on being our first pod. I don't know if that one has anything I need to edit out.
If you don't remember, I'm not going to bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm clearly gonna listen to it. I'm gonna listen to it before I just put it up. I'm not crazy, but I mean, if it's a surprise to me, that'll probably be for the best. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're trying to make me do editing, but the point of the podcast is it to be like an easy thing.
Yeah, fair.
It's like no editing unless absolutely necessary, and just being like a relaxed thing. We're just hanging out talking.
Yeah.
Like for an hour or whatever.
But yeah, I think that in terms of white trash namology, Tammy Lou is probably up there.
Okay.
I feel really bad for Dennis, and I want to give him a different name.
I don't know what his name is. I was until you said otherwise. I thought Dennis was actually his name because that would make sense. Because Dennis sounds like Oh yeah, I would believe that a guy named Dennis has 30 dogs that hang out around his house, and he occasionally, pops off his gun at them when they're getting rowdy.
I'm gonna get up and
when they're feeling froggy, he says, "Come on, motherfucker, leap!" and he pops off a few rounds and whatever fucking gun I don't know what guns sound like, but I mean he shoots them pretty frequently.
I'd like to think they sound like poo poo.
But I hear what his gun sounds like.
Right.
I don't know specifically what gun I'm hearing when I hear that sound. I've heard at least 3 different sounds, and I believe one was a shotgun.
Yeah, it's a Remington, and then he's got a small pistol. I want to say it's a 6.
Has he shown you these?
Oh, he showed me the Remington.
Oh, so you've talked to him?
Yeah, a couple times.
Don't know his name.
Fuck no.
Did he like explain why he shoots at the dogs or?
No, I was too afraid to ask.
Yeah, I mean I can imagine so.
We were talking about it one day, and I was like, "So do you ever go like hunting or anything?" He goes, "No, I'm too old for that."
Old enough to or young enough to ride that Harley though.
Yeah, and so I've been thinking about it. It's just like the difficulty with being named Dennis and being in a trailer and shooting dogs is that after a certain point you start to give Dennis's a bad name.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if every person who shared your name, like, shared your entire being and your knowledge?
I think we talked about this at one point. Or isn't there, like, a subreddit about this?
I don't know.
Or no, it was a writing prompt. It was a writing prompt. Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, and it's like...
That's crazy.
Being named Tim.
That'd be stupid.
You're the cumulative of all Tims at all times.
I would at least have a couple of R&B Grammys.
Yeah, you would have a series of R&B Grammys and
Drake's not a rapper. He's an R&B singer.
So stop rapping at him.
Yeah.
But do you think that after a certain point, like all of the awful names would just be like eradicated? Like Adolf.
I mean, well, that's a tough one. I think that one's already like I don't know anybody alive named Adolf.
We also live in Alabama. I mean,
is it like a reasonable suspicion that somebody named Adolf might be walking around?
Well, not in Alabama. That's my point. I'm saying like maybe if we lived in New York, we might know a couple.
Yeah, I don't think anybody named their son and or daughter Adolf after the 40s there.
Well, I don't know. I think because there could still be people alive from the 30s, right? So you maybe have a grandpa named Adolf.
But nobody is naming their kids Adolf after that point. So that the World War II era people are gonna be dying off. But there's not going to be any more people born that are named Adolf.
Well, what about like 100 years from now and people start to like lose track?
People are going to forget about Hitler?
Oh, no, I'm not saying they'll forget. I think that they'll remember Hitler.
There'll be one good Adolf. We'll have our first Jewish president, Adolf Liebenstein.
Yeah.
And he'll give Adolf a good name.
And then we'll be back to
there'll be a big old boom of babies named Adolf.
And then soon Adolf will rise to power.
No, let's reel that in. Let's not do that one.
That's kind of tragic, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I hope Adolf doesn't become a top name.
So
ever.
Yeah,
ever again.
But if you had to name a kid, what would you name your kid?
I mean, I've in my younger days thought about it a lot, but I think around 15 or 16, it's like if it happens, it happens. But I'm not actively thinking of names for kids. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd probably name my son after my great grandpa Joe.
Mm-hmm. Not Joseph or Joe.
His name was Joseph. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that might be a middle name thing. Might be his first name thing. I don't know. Don't really put too much thought into that.
I'd say mine would have to be Cooper.
Cooper.
Yeah.
No, you gotta go Captain.
Oh, dude, that's true. But I know so many people now. with the
Without saying what your last name is.
Yeah, I think people got it from that.
Without whatever famous captain we're talking about.
Yeah.
Captain Sparrow.
Yeah.
Captain Picard.
If my last name were Picard, I'd
Captain
name him
Morgan.
Jean-Luc.
Captain, is that still a thing? Captain Morgan? I haven't seen a Captain Morgan commercial in forever.
I mean, I know a guy who got so drunk on Captain Morgan that they call him the Captain now.
That's
Captain
a
now.
title. That's how you earn a title right there.
Yeah. Like, I'm deep, but I didn't really earn it. You know,
Right.
it kind of just came to me. It was thrust upon me.
Can I ask a question? Also,
Yeah,
also on the subject of not earning things.
Right.
You've got a necklace on.
Right. I do.
Why are you? I only notice this because you're playing with it frequently.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Like, why? One, why did you put this necklace on? Again.
Okay.
Oh, and why are you playing? I understand you're playing with it. You need to be fidgeting something at all times. But why'd you put the necklace on?
Okay.
You knew you were going to be playing with it. You knew it would distract me.
Yeah, I did actually. But
You're a real piece of shit for that.
I'm gonna start with the backstory here. On my last day of work, before the summer kicks in, and we take a short break before the next semester. The theater director of the Hamilton campus came by, and she had a whole bunch of clothes. Whole bunch of clothes. She's pretty young. Probably
Hip.
Yeah, pretty hip, young, early 30s, late 20s maybe. And she pulled out all the lingerie from the clothes stock, and she's like, this is not appropriate. This does not need to be here. And I was like,
Did she offer it to you?
Oh no, she didn't offer that to me.
Oh.
I mean,
Did she take it home? For
I
personal
assume
use.
most of it was leopard print.
Well.
Yeah, but she was talking to us, and finally she's like, look, I got a lot of jewelry in here I don't really need, and she pulls out this little beauty, which it's a heart on a gold chain. The heart is made of some kind of sturdy plastic.
It looks
I
like
think.
wax. It looks like a wax heart on a
Feel
gold
it.
chain. It feels like candy.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
It's the thing about it is the back ridges that you felt, they're really like satisfying to run your finger across. I immediately jumped on this.
No, it feels like candy.
Plus, I wear flannel a lot.
Yeah.
So the flannel plaid heart.
Which I don't get. It's
The
decently
bow.
warm down here. Why do you wear flannels all the time?
Well, there's a saying that if you want to look good, you got to look fit. And a lot of people take that as in, like, you got to look physically fit, but really it's like you need to have fitted clothes. And flannel is the closest I can get to actually, like, forcing my clothes to fit well.
You know what other thing would fit you well?
What?
Hockey jerseys.
Really? Is that because of Kevin Smith?
Yes.
Oh, what do I look like? Kevin Smith's fat cousin?
You look like Kevin Smith's dumpy brother.
Kevin Smith's dumpy brother. I think we found a title for this episode.
Oh my goodness.
But I think that as Kevin Smith's dumpy brother, I've earned a number of eccentricities.
Yeah.
So this necklace is probably going to be one of them.
They're like, it wouldn't bother me. Like, there's fucking charms on it, and there's something on the back there. I don't want to know. Like, I feel dirty looking at it, let alone touching it.
Oh, it's just the chain extension.
It looks like it's been in a box for a while, and that's
It
why
has.
the end there feels like candy.
Well, it has been in a box for a long time. She said she wasn't going to use it anymore. She brought in like 5 trash bag sized boxes of stuff that I had to carry up 2 flights of steps. So I took at least one
That's why you
spoil.
didn't carry home any macaroni.
No, this was a different day.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, I did deprive our dear friend Gaza of macaroni.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, it
That's
was.
fine. Those hamburger steaks and the green beans were good.
If you guys ever want good food, just come to the South. You will find all kinds of crazy.
I'm just
good
like,
shit.
I love homemade macaroni. Like,
Yeah.
it's the best thing.
And there was a huge tub of it.
The only way to get close to it, like cooking it from a box, is to get like the Kraft Deluxe.
Mhm.
But like you can't really compare them.
Dude,
They're like it's almost like having 2 different dishes, because homemade macaroni is just so much better than making it from the box.
you know what made me obscenely happy on Tuesday?
What's that?
My girlfriend brought me a little baggie of Kraft macaroni to work. Yeah.
Like a Ziploc bag full of macaroni.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't like a Ziploc. It was more like a loose Tupperware.
Oh. Wait, what?
Yeah, it was like a Tupperware with a sealable lip.
So it was a bowl,
Yes.
not a
yes.
bag.
A bowl of macaroni.
Yeah, that would have been an apt description.
Yeah.
Not a bag of macaroni.
I guess it sounded a little bit like I was part of a macaroni dealing ring.
It sounded a lot like she brought you a Ziploc bag full of macaroni.
Oh no, dude!
Which, I mean, I guess I really wouldn't complain about.
It's still
but like if you have to reheat macaroni
in a
out of
bag.
a bag.
It's like bagged milk. you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, there's nothing really wrong with bagged milk.
I mean,
It's strange, but like I can understand it.
it's foreign and strange and unfortunate.
Right,
I
but
think it's
you
tragic.
like with bagged milk though, it's like you could have a milk jug, you know, just
Right.
have a milk. You don't need 30 milk jugs. You don't use 30 milk jugs a year. You have a milk jug. You wash it out when you're out of milk, and when you get new milk, you put it in the clean milk jug. Boom.
But yeah, but what is the jug made of? Fucking glass?
I guess I don't know. You don't have to do that. There's people that just use the plastic bags.
Because there was one time I bought this one girl I used to know a jug of Arnold Palmer because it was her favorite drink, and she, you know, she
Was it a glass jug?
no. So here's what happened.
So what does this story have to do with what I was saying?
I was talking about like why I was curious it was a glass jug, but I got it for her, and long story short, it ended for me pretty well there. She forgot all about the jug, and long story short, it stayed in the corner of her room for the next 6 months, and then I came in one day, a long time later, just visiting, and it exploded when I picked it up. And yeah, so I was a little embarrassed. I was wearing a pair of just like bright khaki shorts. So, you know, this just explodes all over my khaki shorts. And suddenly I turn into the most nightmarish version of youngster Joey from Pokemon you've ever seen. Like, you can see the outline of my dingling against my
Somebody
leg.
beat the piss out of you.
Yeah. It's like youngster Joey goes back to school for the fall semester, and he gets fucking bullied by 3 kids with like a Gengar, a Charizard, and a Dragonite. You know?
This is great.
Yeah.
If you're wondering why he was snickering during the pauses, I was making hand gestures to ask him if he was having sex with this woman at the time, which he nodded his head at. So I guess props to him on that one.
I mean,
Let's get a round of applause for Duke for having sex.
you know, you said you weren't going to do any editing, but I
I'm
really
not
hope
doing
you-
any editing.
hope
No,
you
the
throw
round
it
of
up.
applause should be in the comment section.
Yeah, leave a comment if you're applauding me for
Yeah.
having gotten laid off of Arnold Palmer.
I mean, or you could also comment if you're offended by me suggesting that you should give him a round of applause.
I mean,
Like, I actually really, really want you to comment if you are offended by that, so I can block you. I want to keep you far away from this channel.
I think what do you think is like the most terrifying reality of like a world with Pokemon though?
Feminists like killing men with Pokemon.
Oh my god. That
Like,
is-
can you imagine the humongous lady? What she would have done if she had a Charizard on her belt?
like a fucking Gyarados.
If she had a fucking Charizard on her belt, what does that bitch do?
She had like her daddy's Gyarados.
She had her dad's Machamp on her belt. What does she do?
Yeah.
She summons him, and there's no more Humongous. But let's face it, Humongous is probably a Pokemaster. So
Yeah.
he probably, like, summons Suicune and just, like, rides that bitch out of there and says, "See you later, you psycho cunt." And then she can be upset about what he said to her because,
Yeah.
like, the
Psycho
cunt
cunt.
is a derogatory term for a woman. Saying his name is Humongous, like, I'm fat guy, ha ha ha, that's a well-known joke.
I
My
think
name's
that-
Humongous.
Even if it's not a well-known joke, I think saying,
Also Hugh Man, because
Yeah.
human, yeah.
I think saying I'm Hugh. Hugh what?
Hugh what?
Humongous.
Humongous.
I think that's even if it's just like a ding dong joke.
Are you actually sexually harassing me right now?
How
your,
is-
your name is Ding Dong?
I think that there comes a point where you have to just acknowledge that you're allowed to be comfortable with your own sexual nature without, you know, that being an imposition on others.
Or
think
just
that-
tell somebody who is clearly approaching you very, very aggressively. You don't have to tell that person your
Yeah.
name, I would make up a fake name too.
I think that's part of why he did it. He was
just like, "Hi, I'm a dad.
Yeah.
Here's the joke."
I think that there comes a point where you have to understand that someone being comfortable with themselves is not them imposing that on you.
Yeah.
Like, I think she has to be, like, sexually repressed or something like that, because there's no way she's, like, a healthy member of society.
Oh, no.
Because didn't she do that video begging for money or something, saying that the humongous thing had left her unable to function?
Yeah. Because she posted that video and got backlash like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Like, nobody was on her side and she was stunned. Well, I wouldn't say nobody. Very few people were on her side, and it stunned her, so she removed it. And then she posted a video saying how the world isn't a safe place for her anymore because she made a fool of herself. And nobody knew what that bitch looked like until she made that video.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you really have to understand that it's like those guys, you see them playing like Overwatch or something, and they'll be like, I'm going to put this on the internet. It's like, dude, you've been AFKing for 6 minutes because this dude locked in Genji. Like, who do you think they're really going to blame? The guy who picked something one of 6 people, didn't want him to play? Or the guy who is being a complete dick and losing his team the game by not doing anything? Yeah. It's like, fuck, dude, there comes a point where you have to not just go full-on barbarian with it and just accept that some people are going to do something you don't like.
Yeah,
and
people like that are diseases on the game to their choice.
Yeah. And even
I'm not just saying that, for the segue.
Yeah.
Into, our final topic for today, I believe. Well, I think we've covered all our bases here.
Yeah, I think so.
Except for one.
Got our talking points in order.
Our last one here. Duke, you might have a skin disease there.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know,
he exposed his stomach to me immediately. Like, yep, here it is. Because he was scratching his stomach, and then he cries out in like
pain,
visceral pain.
Yeah. Like
somebody had just gored him with a pike.
Right.
And he's like, because he scratched something on his stomach.
On my tummy.
It looks like it's just like a mole.
No. Here, you guys can't see this. I'm gonna use my phone's flashlight.
It is kind of dark in here.
Quick note, you ever see a username that you know is simply tragic?
I suppose. You just
check this one out.
Okay. So you've got a mod notification from Reddit from user / self-abortion.
Right.
Nice. So you're probably really looking forward to dealing with that.
Oh yeah. We'll save mod mail for the next podcast topic.
I can only you have a lot of stories to tell about that one.
But as you can see,
that looks like a wart.
Is it though? Because I've
looks
ripped it off like 17 times.
Yeah, you've got to get the heart. I had one on that.
Wait, there's a heart in warts?
Yeah, you have to get the heart. That's what I was told. Like I had one on. I was in a Skype call with you guys, and I had the one on my elbow.
Right.
That I was super self-conscious about because a girl talked about it at school.
Oh.
And I later found out that she brought it up because she had one on her elbow as well, and that's why she went. And then, but I cut it off with scissors.
Yeah.
And D told me that could have killed me, and I found out that you can easily nick a vein or something
with scissors on a what?
Well, because it's obviously got blood flow into it,
right? Yeah.
Because it's like a growth.
Oh, does the vein grow into it?
I don't know. I don't remember because this was 5-6 years ago at this point.
Right.
But it's you should get those professionally removed. You shouldn't do that yourself. But I cut it. Because I had picked at it a lot and it kept growing back. Then finally I just got the base with scissors and just fucking cut it because I was just sick of it.
Right.
And then D was making fun of me because he's like, "Oh, you're gonna fucking die, you idiot." He's like, "Gaza, you dumbass," and shit like that.
Right.
And it's like, well, I mean, it's gone. I didn't die. I'm still here.
It is over.
I think Gaza wins, Wart loses at that point.
So what is the heart thing you were talking about?
I don't know. I had one on my knuckle that I bit off all the time, just a nervous thing I would chew on that part because it's a blemish on my skin.
Right.
And it's uncomfortable to think about there being a blemish on my skin. And so, one time I just full on bit it off and it never came back.
You bit it?
I bit it.
Did it squish? What the fuck happened?
You know how biting a fingernail off? That's
No.
kind of like it. You don't bite your nails.
I
Oh
can't.
yeah, because you're open bite. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know,
He's got the whole. You ever see like a triggered feminist with like the trout lips thing?
yeah.
He's got that, except for like he just is unable to close his mouth. It's not. He just like is astonished at everything you're saying.
Right. It's one of those things where I can physically close my lips. That's not a
Yeah.
problem.
So that's
But-
that's got to be difficult to eat with.
Shockingly, no. It allows me to bite into ice cream.
That's the important part.
Yeah.
Being able to bite into ice cream. Yeah, that's like number one importance.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I can close my lips, but let's say you were to close my lips and then look inside my mouth. My teeth don't touch.
Yeah.
My back ones do. But
Well, that's what prevents them from the front ones from coming down.
yeah. And so what happens is I can say bite into a popsicle, right? And because like the coldness of the popsicle doesn't go far enough up my teeth, it doesn't hurt to do it.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
I mean that and other shit. There's more to it, but
Okay, I was confused about you saying you can bite into ice cream thing.
Oh yeah, like I can bite a popsicle with my front teeth.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Now here's an unsettling thing. Let's say I bite into a popsicle and I hit the wood. So it basically, it basically connects my teeth that way, and it feels so uncomfortable.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I was thinking about doing that.
yeah.
God.
Imagine the uncomfortable.
Why would you tell me that? Why would you bring that up?
There are certain sensations that you feel and you have to share them. Like
it's like certain noises
Mhm.
like can give me goosebumps, and just thinking about certain ones.
Paper ripping gets me.
Paper ripping doesn't get me.
I can't stand
Like
it.
gets me. It's like like polyester.
Yeah.
Like the feel, like rubbing your hands on polyester. Just
Mhm.
like you can see the hair on my arms is standing up right now.
I can.
Just thinking about that.
Here's the one that has always tilted me. Not a little bit of the sound. The sound and the sensation of socks on concrete. Wet concrete.
One that got me for you remember like backpacks and like shirts that would have like holographic pictures on it.
Yeah.
How they all had that same texture.
Oh,
It's just like
God.
that, like rubbing your hand across, like the sound of rubbing your hand across that one. It's just like,
Yeah.
ugh, it's just fucking God.
This is kind of fucked up.
Who would put that on clothes?
When I was younger, I always imagined the texture was similar to that of like Skeletor's nipples. Kind of like sandpaper and.
No, because you know what?
Have you never imagined
I never
Skeletor?
pictured Skeletor's nipples until like just now.
You've never sexually harassed Skeletor in
No,
your dreams?
not even in my dreams.
Wow.
I have weird dreams, and most of them are like, they almost always pertain to something I did the day before. But like
Really?
last night, I had this dream of being in like a virtual reality game,
Right.
where like, what pretty much was going on is like I was in a big open space with a bunch of other players, and the Dragon Balls would spawn.
Right.
And as a greedy little Jew man,
Okay.
I ran and I collected all the Dragon Balls.
Okay.
For reference, I was a Jew in the game. I don't.
Oh, you're not just being derogatory.
Like I was dressed as a Orthodox Jew for
Okay.
whatever reason.
can
And I
picture
remember
that.
this because I had the classic curls on the side of my head. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm Jewish. I was like perfectly played it up. I was like, but I had like, and I collected all the Dragon Balls, and then I was like putting them all down, and then it was just like, I can't remember how to summon the dragon. And then I looked down and I was like, I've got 13 Dragon Balls. That's too many Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
And it's like some of them are pyramids. So I'm like, get that the fuck out of here. That's
Get
not a
outta
real
here.
Dragon Ball. I was like, one
Yeah.
was a cone shape. I'm like, that's not real either.
This ain't a DB.
And then I was down to 8, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, one of these doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Square, spheres, square,
Spheres. Right.
squares, and I was like, who would make a square Dragon Ball? And that's what brought me out of the dream. Like, this is a fucking dream.
Yeah.
Nobody would make a square Dragon Ball. The pyramid and the cone one's perfectly fine, but the square Dragon Ball's where I draw the line.
Yeah. One, and I guess this is a good one to go out on, but the last stream I had that was really of note. this is kind of weird, but I just had a really uncomfortably large boner. So I was going around doing my day-to-day stuff, but for some reason I just had a
knocking
really,
everything over.
yeah, I just had a really big boner, and it was super uncomfortable. You know, like it was beating against my jeans. And like,
God, the phrasing.
and I'm walking around, you know, and
Oh
it's
my
just like
goodness.
everyone's noticing my really big boner, and no one's commenting on it, so it's like an awkward silence.
So it's not impressive.
Yeah, I'm like, are you not impressed? Like, is this?
Oh,
are
you're
you
not entertained?
Yeah, and so I'm walking around with this uncomfortably large boner, and finally I get into a really important meeting, and I realize, well, shit, I can't stand up with this boner. But then someone calls on me, so I say, you know what? I'm gonna own up to it, and I do a presentation. I don't remember what the fuck over, but I did a presentation, and finally at the end, I just pointed down at my boner, and everybody clapped, and I woke up.
Look at my hog. My hog is amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic.
That's ridiculous. I think that's got to be one of the most ridiculous dreams I've ever heard of.
Just get boner acceptance dreams.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you know, in school, you always thought like, oh God, don't call on me while I have a boner, please. I don't want to go to the front of the room and have to answer a math problem while I have a boner, Mr.
Which
Lunsford,
inevitably
please.
happened.
Please.
Miss what?
Mr. Lunsford.
Oh.
Mr. Lunsford. He was my junior math teacher, trigonometry.
They just have one of those really sensual voices.
No, he was a super chill guy. He was funny. He was a funny guy.
The comedy.
He looked like a classic nerd. You like that guy's a math teacher. Looking at him, you could tell.
Right.
It was blatantly clear.
Right.
He's a cool guy. And then he's got, I don't know if it's his brother or his cousin. There's also a man that looks just like him, like very clearly related to him, who was a senator for Ohio.
Hang on. Fuck. Oh,
And
God.
his name wasn't Lunsford, though.
Was it Portman?
No.
Shit.
No. He was a representative. I'm sorry.
Oh.
He was a representative for, I think, the Columbus district.
Oh, shit.
Whatever district most of Columbus is.
Do you think that being in the House is like a good step? We'll get into that a different time, but yeah, I've never known anyone related directly to a politician, as far as I know.
Well, I mean, I've known one person who worked in the White House. Well, his dad did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Corey.